And we are live. Hola and hello. Thank you so much for tapping into your greatness show. You're tuning to FMB Radio, and this is a talk show hosted by me, your fairy queen, Tatiana. I have an exciting show planned for you today. This show is all about celebrating personal excellence and diving into the minds of highly motivated individuals. Before we dive into the show, I want to get a few things off my chest. So first, by no means am I a football fan, but simply by the loud cheers of my neighbors that I've been hearing in my neighborhood, all about football's coming home. I am so proud that England is doing so well because it's making everyone happy. My husband's got his football shirt, his football socks, everything is just football, and it's just like a very good vibe. And I think with the weather that's happening, it's such a great thing to have such a great atmosphere. And I hope you're enjoying the football as well. If your team has lost, I am sorry, but you know what? England is doing well. And if you're listening from the UK, I hope that you're cheering on as well. Second of all, today's guest is someone I had a chance to work with. She's absolutely amazing. She built an empire of fashion and exercise. And when I tell you she's got absolute style, she's got absolute style. I had to come out on the show getting dressed all nice because I know she's bringing it. She has a wonderful vibe and a wonderful soul. It is with much pleasure that I have on the show today, and you will find out exactly why I love her so much. Finally, if you want to send us any questions or have any comments, please feel free to slide into my DMs on Instagram at Fairy Queen Tatiana or at FMB Radio. So now it's time to introduce you to our guest of Tapping Into Your Greatness. We have Aysha. Hi, Aysha.
Tatiana, that was amazing. Thank you. That's really kind.
Oh no, you are, you know what, you're an absolute beautiful person in and out. And I just want to know, how are you feeling today?
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here, honestly. And it's so nice to see a different Tatiana from an office environment to now on screen. Wow. Amazing.
Oh, thank you. So for those who don't know, at my workplace, I have quite a serious role in equality and diversity. I look into race, and sometimes it can be very heavy. So you gotta have a different mindset. But outside of work, I can tap into the happier side of me that's not as serious. And I'm just happy to connect with you outside of the workplace because it's so wonderful meeting people in and out the workplace so you see two different perspectives of them. So no worries. So you are the founder of Wellbeing and Style, and having seen you rock the runway in the office, I know that you know your stuff when it comes to fashion. And after many years of working in fashion retail, legal, conveyancing, recruitment, and further education sectors in your safety and well-being, I've seen that you've been developing the best version of yourself and your style and well-being offering. So can you tell us a bit more about your career journey and what led you to form your business?
So it's been quite a journey. And a lot of my work started off with finding work rather than going for a particular career. So anywhere I would find work initially, when I finished university, I was I was married. I was trying to find work to fit around where we were living. So it was Lincoln initially, and there were hardly any jobs. So I got myself into conveyancing there. I hated it, but I carried it on. And then we moved to Nottingham. So my husband's work led us to Nottingham, and I continued in conveyancing because that's what I knew, and hated it some more, and went to a recruitment agency, and they asked and said, well, why don't you try recruitment? And I thought, why don't I try recruitment?
Why
not? Having tried recruitment, I was actually quite successful. I did 4 solid years working for a company called Hayes, did really well, and the job got called in for Nottingham Trent University, and I sold myself in. I applied for a role, I went for an interview, and I started off working for the estates department, and it was amazing. So I worked for the head of customer service and head of finance at the time, And it was an amazing experience. And because that contract that I took was a maternity contract, I knew it was going to come to an end. Yeah. So me, with my business development self, I went out there within the university and networked, and came, because I covered quite a lot of health and safety within the planning and policy role that I took on in the States. There was lots of crossover with health and safety, so we got to know each other quite well. And they said, actually, we're recruiting. I was like, oh wow, perfect.
That's the
and I thought, oh, health and safety, everybody frowns on health and safety. When you say you're from health and safety, normally you just get a so I thought, but you know, it was an opportunity for me, and I took it. It was a great opportunity. I trained, got the qualifications. I learned a lot about myself. So I was there for a good 10 years within health and safety. So it's a long period of my life. And I was already a mum when I took the health and safety role to Sophia, who's now 11. Ooh. And then 4 years into the role, I had Ali. And so I was expecting Ali, and I was just finishing off my NEBOSH exams at the time. Quite a stressful period. Anybody taking the NEBOSH exams will know how I feel. It wasn't the best, but I passed. I did well, and rocked it. So then I enjoyed my maternity leave. I really enjoyed it. It's the second time round. I took the whole year off and went back. I was happy to go back because, as you know, as a mum, being at home is fantastic, but being yourself is something else. So I'm all for having the two, like being a good mum, but also being Aysha. And I was able to be myself when I was at work, and I love being around people. I like organising. I enjoyed even doing from the risk assessment side to all the health and safety stuff, right through to all the well-being. And as you probably can remember, I did enjoy the well-being a lot more than the health and safety side. So I'm a people's person. I enjoyed helping people. So a lot of people that worked at the university had musculoskeletal concerns, and I was like, yep, I'll go for that. I'll go. And within my area that I covered, because it wasn't a high, well, I can't think of the word now, but it wasn't really a risk, a risky area. It was more of a low risk, but different kind of risk. So, for example, you have lecturers that have been sitting for like 8 hours in a row, or I don't know, issues that you'd normally get when you sit down at a desk for long periods. And learning that, I spent a lot of time sorting their workstations, talking to them about their well-being, organising and helping the well-being team with well-being events. And I just loved everything to do with that. And whilst I was actually at the university, I was training to become a Pilates coach, because when you work with any academic, that you can always give advice, but you need to back it up with something. And that's with any professional, by all means. So if I was giving somebody advice with, well, actually, you should sit like this and you should try doing these particular exercises, it doesn't quite fit well with, well, how do you know? how do you know these are the exercises? It just, people like facts. So I thought, right, I need to go and figure out what the exercises are, what you need to do. And that's what I did. So I actually happened to go to a Pilates class for myself at the gym, and I fell in love with Pilates. I love the way we articulate our language to actually explain each movement. I've always done some sort of physical activity. As you remember, I'd always nipped to the gym. I've always been, but in the last 2 years, just before I left the university, when whilst I was getting this qualification, I learned so much about my own body, learning about the actual exercises, learning about good posture and how to help myself and others. And with that passion, I took that back, and I was learning, and I was just developing myself. And honestly, it's been non-stop ever since. So I've never looked back. And then the style stuff came in as well. So as I left the university, so I left tools down, health and safety, goodbye. I didn't say actually no more health and safety. I've still got it in the bag just in case I ever want to go back. Not saying it's over.
Yes.
But the well-being side, Pilates has just pushed me to be more me. And it's made me think about, well, actually, Aysha, what do I really want? And I really do want to grow the well-being side from all different aspects. So from like the meditation, the breath work, the focus, the mind-body connection, understanding myself and how my body is developing, and then growing that style side as well, because I'm non-stop been wearing all these nice things and enjoying, and I did enjoy a little bit of personal styling, and then lockdown happened. Goddamn lockdown. But it's not all bad, because as people went all into their joggers and didn't want to do any personal styling, it hasn't totally stopped, because people are now getting dressed up again, which is great. So that's picked up a bit. And I've just been really enjoying coaching, several different studios. I've just recently taken on reformer coaching, which is just amazing. So it's a total different way. So you're using like high tension springs to do different exercises and stretches, which is amazing. I've also taken on the plant business. So I've always been a lover of plants, and recently I've set up my own plant business. So I've become a little plant dealer, as you do.
Hello.
Yeah, and soon to have a little online store, and possibly in person as well, where I'll be selling things that relate to my style and well-being. So it's growing in the right direction. And honestly, I wish I could have a few more of me to help me, because my head is bubbling, and my body is totally feeling this new vibe, and the way my life is taking me. So I'm not looking back, I'm looking forward. But there's like so many things I want to do, and like there's only so many hours in the day. So I'm just scaling back and just thinking, what's important? What do I want to achieve this week? What do I want to achieve this today? And so on. And I'm just loving everything at the minute, and hope it stays that way.
No, it's so amazing to just not just only hear your story, but also how you're feeling throughout. From the first thing that you said, out of interest, what did you study at university?
Well, business law and politics. So
okay.
I was never sure. I remember going to the careers advisor about 6 times at Devon University, because I looked through this prospectus and I was like, I don't know what I want to be. Which one? What do I do? And it's like, well, you don't have to be any of these. And I said, well, I'd like to be one. And I'm like, one of these. And I said, well, as long as you get some work experience. So my first work experience job was working in the council, in the traffic department at Leicester City Council. And I hated that. It was just like, oh, this is just looking at road maps and all these different ugly things. And it was just boring. But I did it for a good 4 weeks. It was just work experience. It wasn't an actual job. And then I got married. I worked as a nursery nurse, which I enjoyed, but not so much. I love children, but I just don't think that environment's for me. But that experience also really helped me, because as you go through life, every experience that you take on, whether you like it or you don't like it, it helps build you. And for me, all the jobs that I've had, they don't necessarily relate, but they all help the next one, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So from an administration role right through to that planning and policy officer role, to being able to deal with all the meetings I had to deal with within my health and safety job, it just flowed, if you know what I mean. And then when I took on the wellbeing stuff, and then I became a wellbeing coach. I mean, sorry, not wellbeing coach, I'm still working towards that, but like a Pilates coach. That confidence from being able to be exposed to those like big horrible meetings that I just thought I'd never be able to cope with, which I did clearly, to where I am now, I just literally just take that and I'm like, well, I can do that, I can do this. Just do it with your heart and just be honest with whatever it is that comes your way. So as long as you totally believe in yourself, I believe that, look, as long as you're being honest with whatever it is that you're saying and how you're feeling and what you're trying to get across, then it'll be a true reflection.
Yeah. And I think it's absolutely amazing, because like sometimes it's a lot of pressure for, you know, young people to choose what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And some people know and some people don't. But your openness and willingness to work through it, and you know, finding yourself now in a position where you know more of what you want to do. It's not just figuring out the logistics of it. I think it's a very good space to be in. So for people who are currently, because there are lots of people who've been graduating throughout lockdown, they've not had the actual graduation ceremonies and they're just looking for things online. What would you give them, like what hope from your experience would you give them in terms of how they would find themselves finding their career with something that they love in the future?
Yeah. Well, for me, and how I'm so glad I did what I did. So there was never a time that I've not worked. I've always worked. I think I was working from the age of 15 at Shoe Fair in Leicester, actually, and bringing those shoe boxes down. This little Aysha, I'm earning pittance, but you know, it was great, because don't be afraid of getting your hands dirty, and that's been the way I've always worked. So don't look down on a job, because I'm not afraid of like scrubbing a floor or looking like I'm doing a demeaning job, because look at the bigger picture. You're not going to stand in a beautiful, I don't know, a big stage or something on your first role. You don't want to either, do you, really? You've got to build those blocks. And for me, I feel like even though they've not consistently been in that one sector, all those different sectors have taught me how to be able to deal with anything, really, because it builds you in a particular way that, look, okay, she's not afraid of getting her hands dirty. She's not afraid of dealing with a crowd. She can speak well. She'll hold a good conversation, hopefully, not get flustered, not be sweating like this. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, you've got to be able to get your hands dirty. And at this point, especially right now, any opportunity is a good opportunity. And just take it and believe in yourself, because it's not your first job that's going to be your last job. But at the same time, if it is your first job, give it your all, because that will help you for the next one. And make sure the people that you work with, you show them your best self every time.
That is perfect advice, because I think, especially when I was graduate, I was very like, I only had one vision of, I studied this, so I'm only going to work in this. And I've had to open my mind. I think I suppose that if you can have the mindset of, I'm open to anything and everything's going to teach me something that will help me for the next step, it will give you a better chance to appreciate every role that you take, even if it is scrubbing the floors. I remember being the dishwasher, like, it just gives you work ethic. You know, like at 6 a.m. you can make money. You can make money at any time of the day. Like, it's not just your 9 to 5s where you can make an income. So I think it's just a good work ethic. So you've been saying that you got married quite young, and also you've had your children throughout your career. How has your journey been, you know, being married and managing your career and like your aspiration, also motherhood? How have you found it?
Oh my God, Tatiana, what a question. Well, I tell you what, I have absolutely. Like if this was like This Is Your Life, which it feels like right now, I would actually say, looking back, I am so happy and I'm really grateful to God and to my lovely family for being so supportive, because I've not stopped doing something for me in that whole time. So I've got a nice open-minded family, thank God, and really supportive husband. And I think if Riaz wasn't supportive,
Yes.
and if he didn't believe in me, I don't think I'd be where I am today, because I come up with some crazy ideas. I have, like, I don't think I've mentioned, but like when Sophia was born, she used to drool a lot, so I designed a baby's bib. And at 6 months, I was at a trade show. I put this idea together. I designed a bib. I put the bib together. I was at a trade show at Olympia with Sophia and a baby Bjorn at 6 months. Riaz took a week off work, bless him, to look after her, whilst I was like selling this idea to companies. And Jojo, Mama and Baby, they're a baby wear store. They saw my design, they liked my design, and they bought bibs from me.
Wow.
It was like
that
a dream.
is amazing.
So like, I think that when Sophia turned 6 months, that gave me the confidence to say, well, if I can do that, I can do goddamn anything. And really, I keep pointing here because this is Riaz's desk right here. But Riaz has been and still is really supportive. So bless him, on our weekends, we were packing bibs to send off. So we were doing our normal job, looking after Sophia. He was working. We're going through, what was it called? Not a pandemic, but what was it? It'll come to me. But when, I can't remember what it's called, but we went through a really difficult time financially. Do you know what I'm referring to?
No. The financial crisis.
Yes, yeah, but what's the name of it? The
was it 2000?
Yeah.
2008. The
11. 2000.
I forgot the name now.
It'll come to me in a minute. I'll think of something else.
Mum brain.
Yeah.
Literally mum brain.
Goodness sakes. Anyway, it will come back to me. But so we were going through that financial crisis.
The credit crunch.
Yes. No? Yeah. So no, but it's not called that. It will come to me. It's not the kind. It was flipping out, Tiana. It'll come back to me. Let's carry on. But we were going through that. Riaz was on reduced hours at work, and I had to think outside the box. So I put this amazing bib together, sold to Jojo, literally making these little packages at the weekends, sending them off. And that was giving me the confidence to say, well, Aysha, you've done this from scratch. I sorted the marketing, I designed the bib, I modelled the bib on poor little Sophia and her friends. It was great. And she did a great job of like drooling right at the right time and making that bib look like it worked. And it did work. And I still have some that 100% do work. And I did go back to work because unfortunately Jojo's then found a similar bib and mine didn't do so well. And I had to go back to health and safety, which was fine. So I returned back to work. But that confidence that I went back to work with was amazing. So after that, when I went back to work, actually that was back to recruitment, and then I went to health and safety. With that confidence, I've grown as a person, and I've always pushed myself outside of my comfort zone, because I thought, well, if they're telling me to go and present this particular training session, or if they're telling me to, I don't know, go and deal with this risk or whatever it may be, what's the worst thing that could happen? I'm not going to die. And that's the worst thing that could happen. So I literally go into it, like convincing myself I'm going to be fine. and just take it step by step. And I literally got through my qualification in that way, learned so much in that way, got some great friends, good relationships at the university and outside of the university. And it's been great. What was your question? God, Tatiana.
No. It was like just like your journey of both marriage and motherhood.
Oh yeah.
It just seems that you've just been empowered through every experience, and just like validation within yourself, knowing that you can do it, and like motherhood or even marriage is not a barrier to you achieving anything. They're just giving you so much confidence, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Marriage, most definitely, if anything, it's given me a million more opportunities, and having children has definitely not set me back, not one bit. If anything, I do everything before the school run, as I was just saying to you. I do everything before the school run, and then I spend that time after the school run to devote myself to my children, because I wanted five. I wanted 5 little children. And I think I have them, and I can remember Riaz and his parents telling me, it's like, really, you want 5? So I'm one of 5. And so I'm really grateful for all the time that I spend with them. I may look grumpy every now and then. My husband, when he watches this, will like, right. But I love it, and I wouldn't swap it for anything. I'm very grateful.
It's absolutely amazing. Also, I think from what we've spoken about earlier, is like you're not just, you've got your children, you've got your marriage, you've got your career, but you also are present within each and every single one of those experiences. And when it comes to you scheduling time for everything, how have you managed to find the time on a daily basis to make sure that you're not just present with your children, but with yourself, your marriage, your career, and all the different projects that you do? How do you keep your schedule?
Go to bed on time.
The hardest truth.
I promise you, I go to bed on time, and the nights that I mess about and like have a night out with my friends, or we get a date night, which is very rare, those nights I suffer the next day. But consistently, if anybody that knows me, Aysha will be laying in her bed around 9 o'clock, because I'm an early bird. I like to be up when the birds are chirping, or before. I like to make a morning prayer. I like to take time to meditate myself, and just like gather my thoughts, make a plan for the day, and not be reactive. So I'm a very proactive person, and I like to be a role model for Sophia and Ali. So if I'm one of those like, oh, what time is it? Oh, where's your sock? Where's your shoe? We do have those days too, don't get me wrong. But I think 90% of the time I'm already dressed. I don't think they see me with like messy hair ever. I think Riaz turns over and is like, oh, she's gone again. Because I'm out the door before he even like yawns, poor thing. But I literally from 5 o'clock in the morning, it's me time, and I make sure that I'm doing all my learning, I'm training, I'm eating well, I'm planning the food. Sometimes I'm even like, I don't know, doing a Sainsbury's order, but it's all done. So by 10 o'clock of that day, I feel like I've already had a day, but been really successful and achieved. And I love that that sense of achievement feeling. So like today, for example, by 7:30, I was already at a reformer class. I had a meeting at 9 o'clock, had another one at 12:30. I'd organised everything. The house was clean. The laundry was done, thanks to Riaz. The things that we do, we plan it. I like to be organised, and I think that's the secret to my success so far. Is I know what I'm doing tomorrow because I've planned it, and I'm the boss of that. And and if something does come in my way of that, it doesn't matter, because we can plan in, for some failure. But there's a consistent, and also hopefully if something comes in the way of that, I would have gone to bed early so I can deal with it. So there's always going to be something that throws everybody off, because life's not perfect. But it's the way you deal with the things that come running at you.
Yes. No, I think I've really come to appreciate that, because I was one of those people like, just doing whatever. But I realized, because I'm goal driven, so I make goals, but I wasn't really like accountable every single day. Like I have a diary where you can kind of schedule every hour of the day, so you can have like plans for every minute. And I wasn't like deep into it before, but now, like especially with having two girls, 1 year old, I realized that every minute counts.
Yeah.
And if I want to have time for myself, like you were saying, like you wake up at 5, that's the time. So if you want to have me time, you got to get up. And it's hard to sometimes admit or to accept, but if you really want to live the fullest life, you've got to be organized. And I think it's so important that you've said that. And just finding out about, you know, how you enjoy things, and throughout your career, like you're learning, oh, I enjoy well-being. It just makes me realize that you have got to understand yourself throughout your career, and you've been growing yourself like holistically through your other branches, even to this plant business you're doing. I think it's just a natural branch of extension of you, because I mean, look around you, you're surrounded by plants, you know. It's an extension of you, and I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing. So you should be proud of yourself, definitely.
Tatiana, if you were here, I would. You are just. Are you back? You're back.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. So if you missed that, I said if you were here, I would squeeze you, because it's so nice, one, to see you, and I genuinely miss working with you. You're just so much fun to work with, and it's so true. When you do something and it's organically growing, it's natural. And for me, it doesn't feel like stress is a good thing, but also having something that flows naturally, that is you, is even better. So like, don't get me wrong, I'm still learning, and like I said, like first thing in the morning is when I set time to learn stuff, so my head's always got a little bit of stress over it, because I'm testing myself regularly. But what's important is that knowing that you actually are flowing in the direction that you're made for. So like, for me, I'm not a commercial property lawyer, for example. I could never be one, but I'm natural with, like, I don't know, with like sorting a plant out, or sorting an outfit, or doing an exercise program, or I don't know, setting up a workstation assessment, organizing a well-being event. Those things would come naturally, and I'd enjoy it. Whereas I'm sure Riaz might say different, but for him to do a lease, or I don't know what he does. But you know,
it works. That's all that matters.
Commercial property stuff, but like you know, like deal with a completion statement or something like that. But those are not things that would naturally come to me. It's not being able to be creative. Like I like to be able to use my creative flair. So I feel like when I left the university to go on and be me, I was nervous, don't get me wrong, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm on my own here. And like I said, I've been working from the age of 15, so I didn't want to stop working. But at the same time, I wanted to do something I enjoyed. But it's not enjoyment when you have to find the work. It's not fun. Let me tell you, it's not fun to try and like find business, make it successful, make it look like you're calm, and be your happy self. So juggling all those things in a way that looks and feels and is natural is a task in itself. But it's how you deal with it day to day, and how you deal with that level of stress. And that's how I've got here. So literally, thanks to lockdown, it's grown me differently. It's pushed us out of our comfort zones. It's changed my personal styling to something else totally. It's brought out the plants. The personal styling hasn't been parked, but it's coming to life again. I don't know what Boris has said, actually. I've not checked the update because I was too busy on the pool side. But are we able to be mask free come the 19th?
Well, we'll have to see. You know,
Yeah, so like
we're watching the
so yeah, things have changed in the way we give, and I have adapted, and I think everybody has to adapt in whatever comes our way.
Yes, definitely. And I think some of the things that you were saying about things being naturally gifted to you or being organic to you, do you still think it takes you some level of concentration and development and skill to be able to turn it into a business? So for example, you've got the style or the planting, that's great, but how do you develop it into something profitable? Do you still need to develop that? And how do you do that?
100% you have to develop everything. So I am like, if this was a scale 1 to 100, and 100 is like being the best, I'd say I'm at number 3. Because, and the reason I'd say that is because if you start getting like thinking you're the perfect plant person or the best stylist or the best Pilates coach or whatever it is that you're offering, you're going to be like, you're limiting yourself. There's so much out there. There is so much out there. My learning doesn't stop. Good point. My learning doesn't stop. Rest, hydrate.
Stay hydrated. Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, my learning doesn't stop, and I always ask for feedback afterwards. So like my new thing has been reformer coaching, reformer Pilates. And oh my God, I feel like I'm learning the alphabet again, if you know what I'm saying. You know, it's something brand new. So like just when you know that you've got everything and then like bang, something new right there, it does give me like a bit of a stress headache, thinking, oh God, am I really wanting to wake up at 6 to do this, or 5 to, you know, go and do this? But then when you've done it, when you've achieved something, when you've taught a class and you look back and like you think, well done, Aysha. You did it. What, you know, can you do it again? Yes. Are you going to be nervous? Yes. Will you do it again? Yes. So, you know, I'll just keep doing. And that's how I believe everybody should be. Like, there's no particular thing that we're all just made perfect for. We can only be better if you consistently work hard and are continuously passionate for it. So if I wake up tomorrow and think, oh God, I hate Pilates, then don't do it. You know, don't pretend it's you when it's not. And passion goes a longer way. So for me, I'm really grateful to Nottingham Trent University, because I learned a lot about well-being there. I learned a lot about working with others, and I learned a lot about posture, as well as other things. Fix it. But yeah, I learned a lot about that and well-being generally. And had I not had that opportunity, I wouldn't be here right now, because it's like it was the best stepping stone they gave me, because I knew where I wanted to go with it, if you know what I'm saying. So like they gave me a good taste of what I wanted to continue with.
Yes. I like what you said about don't pretend, or you can't, is it like don't pretend you're something about don't pretending. And what came to my mind was, I've seen a lot of my friends and peers, you know, developing their own businesses, and like sometimes people ask, oh, can you start something, or what do you want to do? And I thought I could never do something that was not authentic to me. And as much as like people are like, oh, you can just start something small and then see how it grows.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel like you, or you can be like truly happy with it, I think it's like wasted resources, because you put so much energy into your business. So making sure that you're not pretending to like something, but actually enjoy it, and that passion will stay flowing through you. Because if you're just doing something to make money, I think that's the wrong motivation. It should really be an extension of you. So
yeah, Tatiana, I've just remembered that word, by the way, recession.
The recession. Oh my goodness.
How could you?
I was like, credit crunch. Yes. Oh, good. That recession was a hard hit on a lot of people, and I think for anyone who's had like portfolios, especially in the stock market, you know, I've been seeing this documentary on Netflix called Money Explained, and like how so many people lost their retirement savings, you know, during the recession. It's like, it's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. But so yeah, I think financial literacy is definitely one. Even if you're not interested, we all need to know what we're doing.
Exactly, 100%. So that recession taught both Riaz and I quite a lot, because I was on maternity leave. So imagine being on maternity leave, it's being hit by the recession, and then your husband being put on a 3-day week. And I tell you, if anything made us realise that, hang on a second, we cannot go to a restaurant every other day. We cannot eat and shop like this. We can't. What are our goals? And it grew us up very quickly in a hard way, but it pushed me out of my comfort zone. And you're right. You have to be financially literate. You've got to be, and that passion also needs to be. So, like, if you are to start a new business, so you did say, what's my advice to any new graduates out there? By all means, there's loads of people starting off businesses, which is fantastic, because this was it wasn't a trend before at all. But what I did like is that, people are doing it. People are a lot more confident to give something a try, because you don't necessarily know, like your first job, you don't know whether this is your B job or not. It's like me joining health and safety. Aysha, health and safety. Ugh. They just don't go. But I had the best 10 years of my life. I loved it. And I've met some great people. I've got some, the experience that I've got. So you can't limit yourself to say, I don't know if this is going to work or not work. Give it a go. As long as it's not going to take your life savings, but at least have some sort of a feel where you think, actually, this does relate to me. Because it's like me selling, I don't know, tennis rackets when I've got nothing to do with tennis. Actually, I do have something to do with tennis rackets. I just said that, but because there's a tennis racket here. But like, I don't know, selling, I don't know, but selling something that's not related to me, like I don't know, a SIM card. You're going to at some point be bored of it, aren't you? Whereas for me, with the plants, with the fashion, with the Pilates stuff, it's something that I can see myself doing when I'm old. And that's how so I can see it can go on for a while.
Oh, that's, absolutely amazing. And one thing you were saying, that the word was recession, and it seems that the recession made you resourceful. It gave you that hustler instinct, which I think everyone should tap into, because it just allows you to see how great you can be when you have a challenge and you're like, how am I going to survive, and make you really question your existence and how am I going to maximize my time to be able to survive in this world, which can sometimes be very fickle. And earlier we're talking about you're not looking back, you're looking forward, setting goals. So I'd like to ask you, how do you set your goals? Why do you set them, and how does it help you kind of have that focus to be able to achieve what you want to achieve?
Okay, well, how I set my goals is I'm quite realistic, because writing a to-do list on a daily basis and just like crossing everything off makes me feel great by all means, but I've got to be realistic in the small time frame that I've got. Like I said, most of my jobs are done before the school run, and to be successful I need to think on my feet fast when there's dead times when my body is physically like finished, but I still got to think and plan for the next day. And I've got to make sure that I'm consistent. So this goes for my training, for what I'm eating, all the small things that may look small, but they turn out to actually be the big things. So the eating, the sleeping on time, the being organized, what sessions I'm going to be training, who am I going to be training with, have I got people set up for my next few sessions, the month end is coming, who are my next clients, and just continuously thinking and progressing forward, so taking it step by step. And I promise you, it's so weird, but I always have Whitney in my head.
Whitney Houston.
Yeah. This is so cheesy, but I literally have step by step. I'm not going to sing.
Break out.
Yeah, break out. Can you just put Whitney on, please? But but I literally do things step by step. So I'm not necessarily writing. I'm not writing like massive to-do lists, but I do things and I make sure I'm completing them. And if I'm not completing them, I'm actually allowing myself not to complete and not feel bad about it, but going back. So, for example, I'm doing a course on menopause at the minute, a nutrition course, and I haven't completed them, but I'm allowing myself the time because I'm growing the reformer side, the plants and everything else. But I have given myself allocated times where I'll go back and study. And it's just being kind to yourself is like a big thing. And then achieving, and then the small wins. So like if I've got an empty washing basket downstairs, if there's food to, if we've eaten and the kids have been to all their classes after school, homework's done, they're happy, Riaz is happy, I'm happy, we're all happy. So it's the small things that make the big things work.
Definitely. And just because you've mentioned Brittany and the song is not in my head, I'll just say these words: step by step, bit by bit, stone by stone, brick by brick. So I think
Come on, baby. I like this.
My mum is a huge Whitney fan, and anytime I get my hair braided or just done, she'd play like all the albums. So I know the album track by track.
You and I will get on well.
Definitely.
I'm a huge Whitney fan. I love her. And the step-by-step thing, I do that for everything. So when it comes to the biggest task to the smallest one, I'll do it step by step. I literally right, the first bit is this, do that, the next bit, and then the next bit. So yeah, think of me next time you do your thing step by step.
I will. I'm doing this step by step, and I definitely think of you. So this show is called Tapping into Your Greatness. And could you finish the sentence for me? So I tap into my greatness through, and then it's all you.
I tap into my greatness through taking everybody. So I think I sent you my quote, my favorite quote, where I take everybody with me. And my mother-in-law, Riaz's mum, recently reminded me, because I was going to be doing this reformer coaching. It was going to be the first time. We have done it 4 times now. And she said, just pretend I'm holding your hand. That's what she said. And I was like, do you know what? I remember reading this quote before she said that, and it just reminded me of Maya Angelou saying, when she goes into a difficult situation or into an interview or somewhere, she takes everybody with her. And I do the same. So I tap into my greatness with everybody. So I take my grandma, I take my daughter, I take my husband, I take my mother-in-law, I take my mum, I take my sister, I take all the people that have shown me any kindness and respect with me, and I say, they're with me, I'm taking you with me, and I get through the difficult times. So they're with me right now. They're here. Yes. And I take you because, do you know what? It's all the kindness that makes me feel like I can do it. And that reflects back in how I feel. Yes. If that makes sense.
No, definitely. And our guest last week also quoted Maya Angelou, and it was talking about, taking everyone, and you're not alone in this world. You've got so much love. And even if the people are not with you, they are rooting for you, cheering for you, whatever you're doing. So even if you go to present the class yourself, you've got all these people in the back of praying for your success. So, and knowing that, it makes all the difference, because it just gives you the extra boost of confidence if you're thinking of pulling back.
I love the way you put that. It's totally true, though. Yeah. Because like today, I taught a class in a total different venue. It was my first time, actually. Really scary, but the most beautiful venue. And I got nervous, but I did. I had everybody with me, and they didn't even know it.
Oh no, it's amazing. So far, because you've done so much, what are you most proud of in terms of achieving your goals and being where you are at right now?
I'm proud of being able to coach online because I was the most nervous. I'm really grateful to my sister actually, because she came up with the idea to say, why don't you coach online? And at the time I was like, nah, I can't. And then I thought, yes, I better, because if I didn't do that, I would have not been able to do anything. And I went through quite a difficult time, as many people would have during the first lockdown, because I just thought, oh, I've just quit my job to be on my own and be successful, and I've got nothing to do. And I've been working from the age of 15, and I had to find a way to work. And that meant I was able to, and I'm so grateful for all the people that did work with me and gave me the opportunity, because I was damn nervous when I first started. I was like a different Aysha. And even though I took everybody with me, I was like, oh God, what am I doing here? I'm totally out of my comfort zone. And I literally was able to practice over and over and over and over and over again and just perfect my skills, which was a great opportunity. So I'm proud of that, because if there was anything at that point, over a year and a half ago, if I was to look back and just say, well done, Aysha, you did it. And you can now look back and just be proud, because look at where you are now. Because at that point, at that time, I was literally just going step by step. and I did it. I got to, I'm nowhere near like the perfect 100.
Sorry, we just had a breaking. You're nowhere near your 100.
But I'm working damn well hard towards it.
Yes, definitely. No. So you've been working since you were 15. So that is a bold move. Like I've been working since I was very young as well. What is the driving force behind the motivation that allows you to work hard and just achieve everything that you've set for yourself? What's that inner part of you that's like, I will go through anything?
Initially, I wanted to help my dad, because I used to see him work really hard. He was like an early riser, and he used to leave, so sometimes we'd get up and I could see him drive off to work. And he used to work in factories. He used to don't ask me what he used to do, he's going to kill me now, but he's stuffing factories. And at the time I used to think, oh my God, what can I do to help him, because he used to look so tired. And my mum was at home looking after us, and I thought, well, as soon as I'm able to, I'd like to work to be able to help out. And I did. And it was the best thing I could ever do, because it was nice to be able to gift my parents at the time, to say, oh, I can help you with this because I've got the money. And it felt really good. So that was my motivation and my driving force. And then when I got married and I left university, I just knew that I wanted to be a support to my husband. He never asked, he's never said, I'd really like you to work. And he never does, not till today. He'll never say, Aysha, what are you doing for work? It's more me. I want to do it because I want to be independent, for one. And two, I want to be of support. God, I can hear them pull up. So I do apologise in advance if they come crashing in, but they have told me not to. And they, what was I saying? So they are the driving force in that respect. So it's my family first, and then as a role model to my children, especially to Sophia, my daughter. I'd like her to see that I can do. I don't want to be some superwoman. So like there are times where I say, I will not make your bed. I hope you can do, I'll make her responsible. But at the same time, I want her to see me as, wow, mummy can do this. That means I can do this. So I want her to be able to reflect when she gets older, to think, well, there are no barriers. It doesn't mean if you're a mum, it doesn't mean if your husband's earning a particular amount, you just sit at home. You've got to do it for yourself. And that's what I make it quite clear from the outset, that I'm doing this because I love what I do. And there have been jobs that I've not necessarily loved, but they've made me who I am today. And that's what I'm grateful for. And so I try and teach my children that, both Sophia and Ali, but more Sophia in respect, because she's growing up and she's now 11, and she's looking at me and thinking, well, Mummy, so you've left university, what do you do? So instead of having to explain, and it's so nice because I specialise, and I want to specialise more in women's health. And she loves that, because we talk, and I talk, and I tell her all the things that I'm learning. And it's a great journey for her to come on with me as well. So that's what.
That is so beautiful, which leads me to my question about your legacy, because all of us will leave a legacy behind. We're building our legacy as we, anything that we do, it's contributing to that. But what do you want your legacy to be when your time here on earth not expires, but it will finalize and you'll move on to the other side of the existence? But when I
get to the other side, I just hope I leave like a nice presence for what Sophia and Ali can pick up and think, well, actually, this is how Mummy would have done things. This is how Daddy, because we both are extremely hardworking. We're a hardworking family. We're not lazy, but we do know how to have a good lazy time. but at the same time, I want them to be inspired by us and be as hardworking, but in a way that they can enjoy, because that's what I'm really trying hard to do. Because they sometimes see me, like if I'm scrolling through Instagram, or if I'm writing something on my phone, they're like, Mummy, you're doing that again. I was like, yeah, but this is part of. I'm not sure I understand. Not you, Siri. But like, Mummy, what are you doing now? Because it doesn't look like work to them. But I've made it so that all the things that I do. That's Riaz parking his car. Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear it.
Good. I can feel the garage. Never mind. So yeah, I want them to feel the same as how I feel. So feel fulfilled, feel successful, and enjoy their work, but not necessarily look for enjoyment from their first job, because that's not the idea. You're not necessarily going to find pure love from your first job, but take that with you and keep building.
Yes. No, that's absolutely amazing. And as we're all building our legacies, life is not easy. Sometimes you may struggle. What do you do on those days that you do struggle? Like, how do you pep yourself up again and kind of stay on path to what you're trying to achieve?
I go to bed. The days that I'm struggling, I'll make sure it's normally because I'm shattered. And I'm honest and kind to myself and say, well, what is it, Aysha? Because everybody has a down day. There are days where I just think, And when I do have those days, I'll just make sure I switch off and take that time to switch off. And part of my work, which I'm so grateful for, is I think at least 3 times a day, I'm telling people to roll their shoulders down and take a deep breath in through their nose and a big exhale. And when I'm doing that, I'm like, I'm doing it too. And it's brilliant. So that's taught me to just take deep breaths.
Yes.
And just be in my body and take time to meditate, to pray, be grateful and ground. And that's one thing that I've really learned. So literally putting my feet on the grass, which is so weird, I know. And 20 years ago, or even 5 years ago, if somebody said, put your feet on grass, I'm like, oh, no. But now I love doing it. It just brings me back to earth, being genuinely with the world and knowing where I am and just being with nature, taking a deep breath outside, walking away, taking a walk. And if I get cross at something, just walk away and think laterally and then come back to it, and don't necessarily just be. Normally the poor guy Riaz gets most of it, because we've spent a lot of time in this house together over the last year and a half, and because he's had to work from home, we've learned a lot about each other, but I've learned a lot about how to deal with things too. So walking away, taking a breath, giving myself a treat, which I'm really good at doing by shopping, or trying not to shop so much. Just And yeah, exercising.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to check with ourselves and be back on earth and connect to our realities. I think that's a really good message. So it's not every day we're on the radio. And so is there anything or anyone you're going to want to give a shout out to? Where can people find you about your business? Like, where do people go to work with you or to work out with you?
Oh, so you can find me at Wellbeing and Style on Instagram. I'm sure you're going to tag me on your
Yes.
lovely page. Also, I'm updating my website, so watch that space. And yeah, find me on Instagram. I think that will probably be the easiest. And I'd like to say a big shout out to all of you and Sophia, because I know she's going to listen downstairs. I don't know who else is, and anybody that does, thank you, because one, I hate the sound of my voice, so I'm gonna watch this later and cringe. I know, especially not remembering the word recession. God, who am I? But yeah, this is my first ever podcast. So thank you so much, Tatiana. I'm totally honoured. It's been so nice, and yeah, thank you all.
It's absolutely amazing. Is there one thing that you want the audience to stay with, that you think, if anything, out of all that you've said, what do you want the audience to take with them?
Just one thing. Okay. Oh my God, Tatiana, they're going to take a step, aren't they? They've got to. And no, can they just have two things? Take everybody with you. So like, as Maya Angelou said, we are not alone. Now I sound like I'm singing the Michael Jackson song. You are not alone.
Oh my.
Gotta stop. But basically, take everybody with you. So anybody that's shown you kindness, that has been nice to you, that the people that you love, remember when you're going into that difficult meeting where you've got to stand and present in front of a whole load of people, you're not on your own. Take them with you and be yourself, and just take it step by step. I've given you loads there, haven't I?
That's a beautiful ending, and I've got two songs to stay with me. But thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for all of those of you who have listened and be watching us on YouTube or different podcast platforms. Please send your comments, questions, just connect with Aysha. She's absolutely amazing. And just thank you for being here today. So I will see you next week with another amazing guest on Monday at 6 to 7 p.m. So see you next time.
Thank you, Tatiana. Bye.